Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu. Homage to my most venerable teacher Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu. Do you have anything special to share with me? But I have something very special to share with you. This is the most excellent teaching, the Buddha. So the discourse I talk with you today is from the Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourses, that you will learn so much from the discourse, okay? As you learn the Buddhism, you might have learned that this human life is really rare. It's extremely rare. If you know about the journey of samsara, samsara is the repeated cycle of birth and death. This life is so rare, very, very rare. Have you heard about this? The human life is extremely rare. Why? How did we get this human life here in the human world this time? It's not spontaneous. It's not spontaneously given to you. What causes you to come here?
Your good karma.
Of course, the exact answer is your good karma. Your good karma brought you here. Exactly, that's the word of the Buddha, right? But this did not happen to us all the time. When we go from life after life in the journey of samsara, this doesn't happen to us every time. Why not? We do not collect good karma all the time. To do good karma, we need, what do we need? We need kalyana mittas. We need the noble friends. We need a good guidance. We need a good guidance to be good. When we do not meet the kalyana mittas, we do not know what to do. Many people say, this is good, this is bad. But sometimes they are right, but sometimes they are not right. What if you are born in a lower realm, like in the animal world? Do we have kalyana mittas there? So even if we come to this human world, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we do not meet kalyana mittas. The kalyana mittas and the real Dhamma is very rare in this human world. When we meet this, we come to hear and we come to learn this is right and this is wrong. And then we develop our good qualities. We develop our mindfulness. We develop our wholesome qualities. We develop all the good path for the real happiness, okay? But everybody, even though if we have good karma, even though if we come with the good karma to this human world, all the time we do not meet kalyana mittas. Do you know why? Why don't we meet all the time? This is very religious from the Buddha. Why? Why don't we meet? For example, if you have a lot of good karma accumulated in your previous lives, huh? And you come to the human world, but you do not meet kalyana mittas. Do you know why? Reason? Because kalyana mittas are not available in the human world. There could be a time period without a Buddha, without the teachings. The teachings will disappear. The Buddha's dispensation will disappear, especially the Gautama Buddha's dispensation will disappear after 5,000 years. Have you heard about this? Only 5,000 years the teachings are available in this human world. After the 5,000 years, they will be gone. They will be completely gone from the human world. Already we have passed 2,600 years, right? Is that right? Yes. And just we have 2,400 years. And after that, the teachings will not be available in the human world. Is that good news? Good news? It's very, very, it's not good news, not good news. So you come to this human world with good karma, lots of good karma, and you find going here and there, find the teachings of the Buddha. Do you meet? No, why not? Is it lack of your good karma? No, but everybody. That's just the nature of this world. So when we meet the dispensation of the Buddha, we should learn. We should learn the right thing. Then we will not miss these opportunities. We will enjoy lots of happiness here, comfort and peace because of the teachings of the Buddha. We will enjoy lots of happiness and comfort and peace in our next life because of the result of the good karma. And you will come to the highest happiness, highest peace of Nibbana by the power of the good karma. Right? Is that clear, everybody? Okay. The discourse I have with you is Velāma Sutta. Velāma was not someone else. Velāma was the Buddha. The Buddha in his previous life was born as Velāma. Okay, Velāma was a Brahmin. Velāma was a person. It was a name of a person. All right, we can go to the discourse and learn many, many things. Okay, Velāma Brahmin. I need someone to read the discourse, the first part. Okay, sir. Please.
Those days, the Blessed One was living in the province of Savatthi in Jeta's park at Anantapindika's monastery. Then Anantapindika, the householder, went to the Blessed One and bowed down to him and sat to one side. As he was sitting there, the Blessed One asked him, "Dear Anantapindika, is food still given in your family?" "Bhante, food is still given in my family, but the food is coarse, only broken rice along with pickled brine."
All right. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. What was that? If you have heard about Anathapindika, he was called Sudatta, the noble person. He was the richest person. He's a banker. And he had lots of money. After coming to the Buddha, he became a good disciple and so generous. And he was starting lots of charity, donations, and given generosity. Because of that, he became really, really poor. And he was not able to handle his business. He became a really poor person. He was so much generous. He gave things. If you remember this monastery, Anathapindika monastery, this one, okay? This monastery was built, you know, Jeta. Did you see the word Jeta? This word? Jeta is a person. And Jeta owned the land. And that land was a park, a royal park, really beautiful. And Anathapindika wanted to give this land to the Buddha. He came to the Jeta and asked about the land, and Jeta was not happy to give the land to Anathapindika. Then he said, "If you want money, I can give you money. If you need gold, I can give you gold." Then Jeta said, "If you spread golden coins on the land, then that's my value. I give you this land to you." And then Anathapindika said, "All right, I have money. I have that gold." And he brought from carts to spread the gold coins on the land, but only a few part left without spreading golden coin. And Jeta came and said, "All right, the noble person, I'm really happy to give you this land. I don't need that rest." He bought that land and built that Anathapindika monastery. If you read the Dhamma, many discourses start with this Jeta's Park Anathapindika's monastery. That's how Anathapindika's monastery was built. That was Anathapindika, right? He was a noble person. He was a merchant, was a banker, very rich. But because of his generosity, by the time he became so much poor, but he still continued of giving, to give. Still he had a Dhanashala, alms hall in his family, in his house. But one day, Anathapindika came to the Buddha and said, Bhante, I give dane, I give food to the Bhantes, monks, but not that delicious. Not I give like in the past. I do not have money. I am poor now. And then the Buddha, that's how he said, okay, you know about this coarse, only broken rice along with pickled brine. Do you know this dish? It could be a very poor, not delicious, not nutritious. But still he gives to the monks who come to the house, okay? And then the Buddha said,
Dear Anathapindika, regardless of whether the food is coarse or refined, if it is given thoughtlessly, disrespectfully, not with one's own hand, as if throwing it away without the belief in karma, then the result of that giving comes to him, his mind will not incline to the enjoyment of the splendid food, clothing, vehicles, or the enjoyment of sense pleasures. His sons and daughters, servants and workers will not listen to him, will not lend an ear or try to understand him. Why is that? Because that is the result of thoughtless actions.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. See, it's a very powerful message from the Buddha. When you give, you should always have a pleasant mind, right? Giving and sharing. Giving and sharing is a karma, right? It's a good karma. But how do we collect more powerful good karma? In giving with a pleasant mind. If I share a story, that's actually beautiful. This story comes from the Petavattu. One day, a man was going with a bundle of sugarcane on the shoulder. On the way, he was on a long way, and a father and a little child, boy, was coming behind them, separate people. And then the little child was crying for a small piece of sugarcane. My good dad, please ask me a piece of sugarcane. Please, please, dad, I need a sweet sugarcane. He was crying behind. But that man was so greedy. He didn't want to share. He didn't want to give. And then that father said to that big man in the front, please, good man, give a piece of sugarcane to my little child. So he gave. Because they were keeping asking, he gave, but not with a pleasant mind. How did he give? He gave like this.
Throwing.
Not throwing. He gave all his shoulder, the piece of sugar cane, right? All the shoulder. And that's it. The little child was happy about the sugar cane. And that was it. That was for the entire life. But did you know that this is karma? This is about giving. This is about sharing. This is about good karma. Of course, this is good karma. For the good karma, he didn't have much powerful good karma to come to the human world again. But he was reborn in a ghost realm, hungry ghost realm. But even though he was born in the hungry ghost realm, he was given a huge field of sugarcane. See the result? He was born in the ghost realm, but even that piece of sugarcane gave him so much of happiness. Have you heard about this story? So if we come to the discourse again, everybody, here the Buddha shares something really powerful. Huh? So regardless of whether the food is coarse or refined, it is given thoughtlessly. Thoughtlessly means it doesn't have a pleasant mind. Disrespectfully. They give and share disrespectfully, yeah? Not with one's own hand. So we do not share like this in a different way. As if throwing it away. Huh? Giving and sharing like throwing away. Not happily, without a belief of karma. They do not believe the karma in the karma. This is good karma, and that good karma will bring me happiness or something. They do not believe that, but give. When the result of that giving comes to him, his mind will not incline to enjoyment of splendid food. They do not have an intention, desire to enjoy the food. Why? They have not practiced the pleasant mind in giving. Did you know what happened to that ghost? Ghost who were born with a huge field of sugarcane. When he goes to the field, the leaves like blades came to him and cut his limbs, and he fainted. He was in so much of pain, fell on the ground and crying and screaming. See the result. One day, Venerable Mahamoggalana Bhante, we don't have a picture of the Bhante. Upstairs we have the beautiful statue. He was going nearby this field. He saw the ghost who was really in pain and crying and lamenting. And he came to the Bhante and said, "Oh Bhante, I have a huge field of sugarcane, but I cannot even take even one piece. When I go to the field, the leaves cut my limbs and my throat and everything." Bhante knew about the result, and he said, "You poor man, you poor ghost, you cannot get it like this. Go backwards." Stepping backwards, go to they are like bamboo, like huge, sweet sugarcane. Go backwards. How do you say that? Reverse.
He has to walk backwards.
He has to walk backwards and get one. So he did that, and he get one. What was it? The result of karma. It's really different, huh? So that's how he gave backwards. That's how he received. But fortunately, he offered a huge piece of sugarcane to this Bhante, Mahamoggalana. Bhante brought it to the Buddha and offered to the Buddha and the Sangha. And that ghost was so happy after that. And he enjoyed without going backwards to the field. So as a result, everybody, when the result of that giving comes to him, his mind will not incline to enjoyment of splendid food, clothing, vehicles, of the enjoyment of sense pleasures. Then what is actually the happiness that we enjoy in the human world? You like to have a beautiful car, you like to have a beautiful dress, you like to have delicious food. It's a result of happy giving. Result of happy giving. Not only that, his sons, daughters, servants, and workers will not listen to him. What's the secret of the attention of people? Pleasant giving. Okay? Try to understand him. Why is that? Because that is the result of thoughtless actions. This is something that we learn from this sutta. Okay? Next part.
Here, Anartha Pindika, regardless of whether food is coarse or refined, if it is given thoughtfully, respectfully, with one's own hand, not as if throwing it away with the belief in karma. When the result of that giving comes to him, his mind will incline to the enjoyment of splendid food, clothing, vehicles, or the enjoyment of sense pleasures. His sons and daughters, servants and workers will listen we lend an ear and try to understand it. Why is that? Because that is the result of thoughtful action.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So whenever you practice giving at home, maybe you make a cup of tea for your family, maybe you give some water, maybe you serve a handful of whatever, like the spoon of rice to your child, with a happy mind give. That will give you so much of happiness in the samsara.
Once, Anathapindika, there was a Brahmin named Velāma. This was the type of gift he gave, the great gift he gave. He gave 84,000 gold bowls filled with silver, 84,000 silver bowls filled with gold, 84,000 copper bowls filled with gold. He gave 84,000 elephants with gold ornaments, gold banners covered with nets of gold thread. He gave 84,000 chariots spread with lion skins, tiger skins, leopard skins, saffron-colored blankets with gold ornaments, gold banners covered with nets of gold thread. He gave 84,000 milk cows with silken reins and copper milk pails. He gave 84,000 maidens adorned with jeweled earrings. He gave 84,000 couches spread with long fleece covers, white wool covers, embroidered covers, rugs of Kadali deer hide, each with a canopy above and red cushions on either side. He gave 8.4 billion clothes. Yeah, that's billion. Of the finest linen, of the finest cotton, and of the finest silk. Not to say how much food, drink, meals, refreshments, and beverages. The way he gave gifts flowed like rivers.
Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
What is it all about? We can't even believe in the giving of this person, the noble person. 84,000 golden bowls filled with silver. 84,000 silver balls filled with gold. He gave donations, charity. How do we believe this? This is not a lifestyle like that we live here in the human world. Maybe you have heard that the lifespan of the people had about 84,000 years and more than that too. Have you heard about this? A longer lifespan in the history people lived. What will happen in the future? Coming up, coming down. We will come down. Our lifespan is reducing, getting down in the future. Even when the Buddha was born, the lifespan of the people was 120. But people do not live today 120. Getting down. So that period, 80,000 years the people lived, this is not a big deal. They were so rich. They don't have anything like we have to spend money. They did not spend money for food a lot of time. Like they do not want to grow. The food was like coming from the fields automatically like that. They were so rich. Anyways, this was about a tremendous generosity. Linda.
Dear Anathapindika, you might think perhaps it was someone else who at that time was Velāma, the Brahmin, who gave that gift, that great gift. That's not how it should be seen. I was Velāma, the Brahmin at that time. I gave that gift, that great gift. But during the giving of that gift, there was no one worthy of offerings to accept my gifts. No one purified that gift.
Sadhu, sadhu. That was not someone else. That was the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be. When he was coming in the samsaric journey, he gave that dana, that generosity, that donation he did. But he says, dear Anathapindika, my dana, my giving was not fruitful. Even though I gave such a huge dana, unbelievable dana, the ocean of dana giving, That was not that powerful. Why not? That was not a time of a dispensation. People did not practice the Dhamma. They were not virtuous. They did not know about the Dhamma. How do you learn about this? When you give something to someone else, the good karma depends on the person who receives. If they are virtuous people, the good karma is high. If they are not virtuous, the good karma is low. If you give something to an animal, the good karma is little than you give something to a human. There are thousands of differences in the human world too. When they have virtue, when they have mindfulness, when they have good qualities, the good karma is high. That's why we encourage people to come on the Sil day and give dana to Sil people who practice 8 precepts. Why? The good karma is high. Then you give and receive the good karma to 5 precepts people. Depends on the person, right? Depends on the people you give, the good karma depends. In that time, during that time, who the Velāma practiced this generosity, the people were not virtuous. Why not? They didn't have the dispensation available in the human world. That was not a time period of a Buddha. That was not a time period the teaching was available in the human world. That's why he was giving this information to Anathapindika. Do not worry about your poor giving. You give with a pleasant mind to virtuous people. But I did something really big when I was coming, but that was not that powerful. Even though I gave this much of gold, this much of silver, this much of cows, this much of cows, like a floating of a river I gave, that was not that big. Does it make sense?
It would be more fruitful to feed one stream enterer than that great offering of Velāma, the Brahmin. It would be more fruitful to feed one's returner than 100 stream enterers, and that great offering of Velāma, the Brahmin.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. When you give something to a person who comes to the extreme entry, the level, that giving could be something very simple. Could be a teaspoon of sugar. You give to that person is higher than the generosity of that Velāma. Did you get it? So then what do you practice when you come to the monastery? When you give something to Sangha, you think about the whole community, including Arahants. Then how could be that result of giving? Immense, right? It would be more fruitful to feed one's returner than 100 stream enterers and that great offering of Velāma the Brahmin. You give one thing, small thing, to the second stage of enlightenment, someone who achieved that second level, Sakadagami, one's returner. Only one person, you give something to one person, but the fruit is more powerful than you feed 100 stream entrants. You feed 100 stream entrant, but if you feed one's returner, that fruit is more powerful. That result is more powerful. Did you get it? Why do we learn this? I want you to continue of learning this thing. You will meet wonderful things at the end.
It would be more fruitful to feed one non-returner than 100 once returners, and that great offering of Velāma the Brahmin. It would be more fruitful to feed one enlightened monk than 100 non-returners, and that great offering of Velāma.
Sadhu, sadhu. You understand, huh? You feed a non-returner, one non-returner, and then you feed hundreds once returner, which is more powerful. If you feed one non-returner, that's more powerful than you feed hundreds, ones returns. And then you will give something to the Arahant Bhante, just something very little. That food is more powerful than you feed 100 non-returners. It's calculation, huh?
It will be more fruitful to feed one private Buddha than the 100 enlightened monks, and that great offering of Velāma, the Brahmin. It will be more fruitful to feed one supreme Buddha than the 100 private Buddhas, and that great offering of Velāma, the Brahmin.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You give something to the Arahant Bhante, just something very little. It is more fruitful than you give non-returners, Anagami, Rahatan Mahansi. The result is different. Huh? When you give something very little to Pacheka Buddha, the private Buddha, that result is more powerful than you feed 100 Arahants. You give 100, you feed Arahants 100. You give dan, many food. But if you give one thing to one Pacheka Buddha, that's more powerful. You give 100 of Pacheka Buddhas, dana, and you give one supremely enlightened Buddha, one thing, which is more powerful. Giving to the Buddha is more powerful.
It would be more fruitful to feed the community of monks headed by the Buddha than to feed one supreme Buddha, and that great offering of Velāma the Brahmin.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu. How did you understand that? How did you understand that? It would be more fruitful to feed the community of monks headed by the Buddha. Buddha with community. That's more powerful, okay, than the Velāma Brahmin. So think about the Velāma's generosity. Unbelievable generosity. This is out of the dispensation. But think about something very little you give in the dispensation, the difference. What is it? This is all about the path, all about the practice, all about your good karma. Okay?
It will be more fruitful to build a residence for the community of monks, the Sangha, than to feed the community of monks headed by the Buddha, and that great offering of Velāma.
Such a beautiful thing, huh? You give a dana to the Buddha and the Sangha, and you build a small hut to the Bhantes, which is more powerful, the good karma, making a hut. So in the Vimanavatu, I guess, we have a story that one guy made a small hut for Bhantes, and that was how? Getting 3 poles, bamboo or sugarcane, he made, and he put hay for the roof and hay for the ground. And that was it. Making the kuti, making the small hut, the shelter. He died. And that owner of the land was not happy, and he came and he killed this man. He was reborn by the power of his good karma in the heavenly world. What brought him to the heavenly world? Making that small hut for the Bhante. So the making a hut. So sometimes you pay for the heating charges of the monastery. The same thing. Sometimes you pay for, I don't know, to build something, maybe a window, maybe something very little. This is more powerful than you feed the Buddha and the Sangha. This is all about the dispensation and the karma, huh?
It would be more fruitful to go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha with a confident heart than to build a residence for Sangha, and that great offering of Velāma the Brahmin.
Did you get it? You give dana to the Buddha and the Sangha, and you make a small hut for Mahasangha in the dispensation. That is something simple. Little. It's not something simple, but this is small in comparison when you go for refuge to the Buddha, saying, Buddhang saranang gacchami with your joint palms. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami is powerful, is more valuable than giving. Giving is not that powerful. Why? The people at the time of the Velāma Brahmin was not that faithful people. They didn't have teachings. That's why that giving was not powerful, that he did not collect good merit like this Anathapindika collected. Anathapindika gave something very little, he said that not delicious. So Buddha said, don't worry, Anathapindika. Don't worry. I gave a dana, but that was something amazing, but not that abundant fruits I received.
It would be more fruitful to keep precepts with a confident heart, that is, not to kill, steal, commit sexual misconduct, lie, or take intoxicating drinks and drugs, than to go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha with a confident heart, and that great offering of Velāma the Prophet.
Sadhu, sadhu. Do I want to explain? So how powerful is the precept? How much you receive by being virtuous? Not high precepts, just 5. Stop killing, stop stealing, stop sexual misconduct, lying and drugs and alcohol. Gives you so much of protection to this life, to the next. We cannot actually do a dana like Velāma did. Can we do a dana, giving like Velāma? Can we? We cannot do that. Why not? How do we have that money? No, we cannot do that. But you can do something here. What is it? This is the dispensation, everybody. This is the foundation of your life, of your happiness. This will give you so much to go furthermore. Precepts and the refuge, and we'll see more. This is not the end of the sutta.
It would be more fruitful to develop loving kindness meditation, even for just as long as it takes to smell the fragrance of a flower, than to keep the 5 precepts with a confident heart and that great offering of Velāma the Brahmin.
I want you to understand the meaning yourself. See the difference. Why? What's the reason for this? Keeping precepts is small in this scenario. And then the Velāma Brahmin's dana, the giving, the generosity, is nothing with this kind of meditation. What is it? Loving kindness for how long? A half an hour? 30 minutes?
No.
A few seconds.
A few, how much? Like, so you have a flower in your hand, okay? And you want to smell it. How much time do you need? Just 2 seconds? Okay, maybe not 10 seconds. You cannot do that. You cannot do this. Because like, you will die. You want to do this. No, it doesn't work. That's the time you do the metta bhavana, the loving kindness. How much you do? Huh? What's the reason for this good merit? This is like very scientific. Huh? How do we do this? Because everybody, loving kindness gives this world tremendous freedom from fear. Loving kindness is something really powerful you give to the world. How? What is the opposite of loving kindness? Anger, hatred, and things. Huh? Anger, hatred, and things. Do that give to the world something peaceful? No, we are so scared. We give the fear. We give to the world fear. When you have a little bit of metta in your mind, everybody is calm and peaceful. You give something tremendous to the world. You do not know that. You don't know that you give something good to the world, but you do. That's why this merit is that powerful. Just 3-4 seconds. And also you enjoy in return so much peace, happiness, and comfort and peace. How? Buddha said that when you practice loving kindness meditation, you will get 11 benefits. 11. You sleep really well. Do you believe this? You have metta in your mind and then you can sleep really well. How? Can the violent people sleep really well? No, never. Never ever. They're depressed, they're worried. They're anxious, they have fear, lots of things running in their head, right? They do not sleep well. Metta gives you peace, happiness. That's why you can sleep really well. Doesn't matter. And then the second one, they wake up really comfortably. Even though they sleep 2 hours, 3 hours, they can wake up really well. Comfort, happiness they have. Why? They have a very deep sleep. They are not disturbed. They have no trouble sleeping. Power of metta. And they have no evil dreams. Their facial complexion becomes serene. And the people are really friendly with them. And non-humans do not do any harm. Then deities protect them. Their minds gets very quickly concentrated. They have no dangers with the fire, weapons, and poisons. At the deathbed, they are not worried. They have a peaceful death because of the power of metta. These 10 benefits, 10th one is the last of this life. The 10th you enjoy in this life, and then the 11th one is for the next life. What is it? You will be reborn in a higher realm called Brahma world. The power of metta.
Dear Anathapindika, whatever good karma is created by Velāma the Brahmin, by giving that great offering, by feeding 1 stream enterer, by feeding 100 stream enterers, by feeding 1 once returner, by feeding 100 once returners, by feeding 1 non-returner, by feeding 100 non-returners, by feeding 1 enlightened monk, by feeding 100 enlightened monks, by feeding 1 private Buddha, by feeding 100 private Buddhas, by feeding 1 supreme Buddha, by feeding the community of monks headed by the Buddha, by building a residence for the community of monks, by going for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha with a confident heart, by keeping the 5 precepts with a confident heart, and by developing a loving kindness meditation for the time it takes to smell the fragrance of a flower, it is more fruitful to develop the meditation on the perception of impermanence, the time it takes to snap a finger. Sadhu.
That's what you did. You did this. The meditation about impermanence. Like this much? No,
No.
30 minutes or something. Why? The perception of impermanence gives you so much than everything. This is the last of the discourse. Okay? The end of the discourse. Why? What's the reason for this? Do you have any questions? If I suggest you to do one thing, you will get more. You could start with loving yourself. Love yourself first. You should do that. This is the word of the Buddha. You are the most important person to yourself. The most. The first thing that you do to yourself is love. Start with that. Do not hate yourself. Forgive yourself and love yourself. Take care of yourself all the time. Doesn't matter what. Then you can go to other people. Everybody here, everybody in this human world are vulnerable. Like they have so much pain, suffering. We have bad karmas. We have so much of things that we lose people. Sometimes we have no money. We suffer from this and that. This is very, very normal to everybody. But that's okay. Start with loving. Love yourself first. Take care of yourself really well. All right? And do all the time the positive things. If you need friends, select a noble friend that gives you peace, that shares happiness and comfort with you. Positive things. Be really positive and go, and you can move on. Does that make sense? Okay? Forgive yourself if you have any guilt or something. Love yourself so much. Doesn't matter what. Eat well. Take care of your health, physical health, exercise and things. Relax. A little bit of meditation. You will gradually grow yourself actually. And be a little spiritual. Finding happiness, never go to bad things. Like drugs, alcohol or things. Never ever. Don't go to any bad things to find happiness and peace. Why not? They never give you peace. Never ever. Do you agree with me? Be very calm, peaceful. Take your time. You can stand up. You have all the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem. Everybody, when you listen to the words of the Buddha, you already receive the blessings. That's so much powerful, okay? Receive that power and stand up. Metta, you start first with yourself. Metta, loving kindness. That's why we practice, may I be free from anger. Remember? That's how we practice the Metta Bhavana, loving kindness. May I be free from anger. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from jealousy. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May I live in peace. May I live happily. If you practice 10 minutes, during that 10 minutes time, if you can focus your loving kindness, just 1 second, just 1, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, how much good merit do you collect? Then giving a dana like Velāma, then giving a dana to the Supreme Buddha headed the Sangha, then making a big monastery, you collect good merit. Then keeping precepts, you collect good merit, and that's just for you. No one can steal. No one can destroy. That's the secret of happiness. That's just the secret of happiness. Nothing else. Believe in the karma. I'm talking to everybody, okay? Believe in the karma. Believe in the good karma and collect. That you will receive happiness, whatever you like to enjoy. We need in return something. We need something in return for the good karma. Is that desire? Is that greed? You need nibbana. Is that desire? That's the highest happiness. When we do not have that desire, you never get it. Clear, huh? Clear. Buddha said in a beautiful simile, like you have really attached to things, and you should be attached to the Dharma if you need that goal. We say that let go of your attachment, but do not let go of the attachment to Dharma. But at the end of the journey, you will let go the desire of the Dharma. Like what? You have a stream to cross over, and you have a raft. You get into the raft, and you row with yourself, you paddle, and you go to the next shore. You do not take your raft on your shoulder and go. You let it go and go. Likewise, when you reach the far shore, you let go of that and you're free. That is Nibbana. That's where that you should let go that desire. Until then, you need it. Until then, you need that desire. You need that attachment. Unless you do not reach that. Clear? We need that desire, okay? We need the desire to the Dharma. We need that desire to the peace and loving kindness, the meditation, the precepts, the giving and sharing. We need that love. We need that love ourselves if we need this journey to cross over the samsara. When you do good merit, you should have a goal for what? To achieve the highest happiness, Nibbana. That should be the real goal. When you reach that goal, you will receive many, many supportive things to the journey. What are the supportive things to the journey? Good community, good dharma, good country, good shelter, good house, good car, good food, good health, physically, mentally. Everything you will be given. And then the peace and the good environment, not in a war country. Everything will be fine to practice your dharma. That's something we need. If this human world is not suitable to practice the Dhamma, you will go to the higher realm and you will get the opportunities to practice Dhamma. There, you will be welcomed by the other devas to their community to practice this Dhamma, not to enjoy the sensual pleasures in the heavenly world. You will enjoy, of course, the food and everything, but more than you will enjoy the ultimate happiness. That should be the goal. Whenever you do good and collect good karma, that should be the highest goal. Yes, I need to be free from suffering. You know that in Mangala Sutta, Buddha said, Patirupadesa vasocha. Patirupadesa means the good environment to practice the Dhamma. We need it. We need the good environment, the good community, good country, good society to practice the Dhamma, the safe, and comfortable, and happy, and supportive. We need it. Even in the heavenly world, we get that opportunity if you go. Even in the human world, if you have that community, you're lucky. It's a merit, it's a result of merit. Don't hesitate to be born in a higher realm, because it's good opportunities for the Dhamma. Additionally, you will enjoy things. I don't know. All right. If I go back to the discourse again, we were talking about that dana, giving. We were talking about that generosity, giving to the Buddha. We were talking about the refuge. We were talking about the precepts. And we were talking about loving kindness. More than all these things, the perception of impermanence, the time of a finger snap, is more powerful. Why? That gives you the real wisdom. That opens your mind. That gives you so much to your mind to understand the reality of the world of yourself, the samsara. That is the perfect teaching of letting go. Even you do not understand the impermanence of things, you never let it go. Does that make sense? We cannot let it go if we do not see the danger of the things we enjoy. Right? The desire causes the suffering. Here and there, everywhere, the desire causes suffering. Letting go of the desire is the path to the enlightenment. How do we let go of the desire? Thinking about the impermanence, the reality, impermanence, even the desire, even the happiness you receive in the meditation. Okay, you sit for the meditation and enjoy lots of peace and happiness. Your mind is concentrated. What could that happen after a few minutes? You enjoy lots of happiness in the meditation. That is also subject to impermanence. There is nothing to be attached in that. If you attach to that happiness too, you're not freed. You're not free. You still have that suffering. The wisdom is not there. Wisdom is all about letting go. You just let go of that happiness, which is not like you do not enjoy that. It doesn't mean that. In the meditations we practice that this tongue is impermanent, the taste is impermanent, which is mean that the Buddha did not ask you not to eat. No, he didn't ask you. But he gave so much of restrictions. Please stop after 12. That's what he said. Receive this. For the Bhantes, do not accept, do not eat, which is not given to you. Isn't that beautiful? Even in the monastery, we cannot eat whatever we like to eat. Someone should give us. A lay person. Does that make sense? A lay person should give to us if we like to eat it or drink. Unless we are not allowed. It's crazy. Why? Those are the restrictions about the food. But he never said, this is so delicious, do not eat, that will develop your craving. He did not say that. He said, while you're eating, you will have a pleasant feeling. Reflect on that and let go of the desire. Impermanence. Impermanence is the key for happiness. How much time? Just a time of a finger snap. If you practice this impermanence, if you focus on this impermanent, you will enjoy lots of peace and happiness in this very life. Why? You're not attached. You have a very beautiful way of letting go. Anything, maybe worry, maybe suffering, maybe regret, maybe any pain, maybe any unpleasant experiences we have, just letting go. Why? Subject to impermanence. Past, it's gone. Letting go is the way for happiness, the relax. You're free. You enjoy lots of happiness here. When we travel back to our countries like Sri Lanka, sometimes we have no people. Sometimes in Vikala, after 12, we are in the sky. In the sky, like on the plane. And the plane takes off in the evening and lands in the evening. 12 hours, 16 hours. What do we do? What should we do? Respecting the word of the Buddha is just the way. And that's it. Nothing else. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and you learned many things. You happy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You're really lucky to listen to the word of the Buddha, and you're really, really lucky to have this dispensation. We have the dispensation available, the Buddha and the teachings in the Sangha. make your mind happy about the teachings, you will receive more.